How's everyone doing? Thanks for joining me on my small engine repair channel. Today's project on this Toro Recycler push mower, and the problem the customer's having with it is he's saying that the grass clippings are not actually getting thrown into the bag, and a lot of them still end up on the ground. So let's take a look at it and see if we can't fix this up. Alright, so this mower's been in for a couple of different reasons in the past. It belongs to one of my clients who runs a lawn cutting service. So he was saying to me that unfortunately the grass clippings are not going into the bag and they're getting left on customers' lawns, and he's having to go back and rake them up. So he wanted me to take a look at it for him. First thing I did was kind of look in the back here to make sure things weren't all clogged up or whatever. And so nothing was clogged up here in the back. So the next thing I have to do is kind of flip the mower up on its lid or on its back here, so that I can go ahead and check underneath. When you do that, guys, just make sure you try to get as much of the gas out of the gas tank as possible, so it doesn't leak in case your gas tank or your cap is a little bit leaky. If you want to prevent that from happening, you can take the gas cap off. You can put like a plastic bag underneath and then put the gas cap back on. That should help prevent any spillage. The other thing I recommend anytime you're working underneath a mower, guys, is just to make sure you take the spark plug wire off. So that way there's absolutely no chance that this lawnmower is going to start up with you underneath it. So I'm going to lift this up here now. Now I have been underneath here and worked on this a little bit, kind of cleaning it up for the video and to kind of show you an idea of what I found. First thing I did was take the blade off, of course, as you can see. And the next thing I'm looking at here is this rear shroud area. You can see is all mangled, it's cut up, and actually it's missing quite a bit of the shroud. Let me show you what the shroud actually should look like. It should look like this. So it's basically going to sit in here like so, and it's going to direct all of those grass clippings out to the chute area, which would be open, and allowing all the grass to then go into the bag. So with this thing broken, obviously that's not going to work properly. All right, so to fix this up, obviously we're going to have to get the remnants of the old one off first. And just looking at the new one here, you can see there's access holes for a couple of bolts or shafts or what have you. So if you take a look on the side, that's actually kind of beat up already, and it's a little bit dark here. But there is a bolt that comes through here, and then there's a bolt and a nut that comes through here. Both of those look like they are attached to the remnants of this part of the shroud. Also down here there is basically a little plastic guard on the back side that's all chewed up and torn up. So this one's probably really not doing a whole lot of anything. Normally these things on the outside, they have a Phillips screw on either end holding them on. And I bet you in this case, these ones, this one would just, you can just kind of pull it out because it's in kind of rough condition here already. And there you go. You can see on the end there's the Phillips screw on each end kind of holding it in place. Most likely what you would have to do is take the wheels off on both sides to get access to the back side where this little Phillips head screw is. All right, so I'm just going to move that out of the way. The next thing I'm going to have to do, like I said here, is probably take off these wheels so I can have access to some of the hardware on the outside of the mower. So I propped the mower up here on some blocks of wood. And I'm just going to take the wheels off on both sides. Alright, so when I just reach up and underneath here, I believe the bolt that has the nut attached to it that I showed you earlier is this one right here, and I believe this is the bolt that goes through that doesn't have the nut on the back side. So what I'm going to have to do is take these two off. I'm going to have to get a wrench on the one on the bottom, so I might have to lift this back up again now that the wheels are off, so I can have access to the nuts on the other side of this. Alright, well I have a 1/2 inch wrench here that's going to go on this nut, and I'm going to take the 1/2 inch bolt out. Hopefully it's not too rusted. I did put some penetrating spray on there earlier, and that's a lock nut. And looks like there is a bushing. I didn't see if the bushing came out that way or from the other side. Yeah, it comes out from this side. So just remember that when I put it back together. And I'll take off this. I presume it's also 1/2 inch. Let me check here. Yep. That's just the assembly for the height adjuster, but I do believe that will come through. So let me see if this... Again, looks like there's a bearing here or something, or a bushing. So that whole thing comes through, comes off. And it looks like there's a nut. Interesting. So I wonder, I'll have to try and probably pry this piece off. So I'm going to work on the other side now as well. It's going to be the same as this particular side. Those two items that I just took off here was this guy here, and this one was the one with the nut attached to it. So I'm going to take these two pieces off as well now, and we'll come back when that's done. All right, I got the other side off here, but just be aware that when you do that, it basically, you have the chance of all of the handlebars then coming detached from the body of the mower, which happened in my case. So when I go to put this all back together, of course I'm gonna have to reline the handlebars and everything, but this guy came out, and we're gonna need to save this piece for the new one. So the new one's gonna go in here just like that. Alright, hopefully everything kind of lines up with where the old one was. This is going to go on the inside here, like so. Lines up in this guy. There's a, you can see it's kind of slotted. I think what I'm going to do is clean these bushings or whatever these are up on a wire wheel, and then we're gonna clean them up on a wire wheel, and then we'll put it all back together. All right, let me show you what I got going on here to try and put this all back together. So when you take this thing apart, basically you got three separate pieces. You got the deck, you've got the handlebars, which is its own piece, and then you've got the baffle, right? So you got to essentially line three pieces up together. Just hard to do when you're you're working by yourself, first of all. So what I've done is I put this on the floor and put it up on its side with the carburetor side up. And I've blocked the engine just to prevent the whole thing from tipping over. And I kind of got the handlebars lined up. You know, they're not perfect just yet, but basically I'm just going to be working on one side at a time, trying to get these holes and whatnot lined up. At present, it goes like so. Alright. Now, probably the easiest one to do first is probably this top nut and bolt, and then we'll put the bushing thing back in after. So, get this. And of course up and underneath here, there's not a lot of room. This bushing's gotta go in. And so maybe I'll put the bushing in here. Try and line this stuff up as best I can. And this is guaranteed to be the hardest part of this job. Okay, so I got through 2 and through the third one. Pushing on, which see, there you go. As soon as I start messing around with it, it comes off of that. As soon as I let this bushing go underneath, it's going to fall. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Do it quick. Alright, so I'm going to get everything started. So if I can get it all started. Alright, so I got that side started. Now, this other side I might be able to do by just jacking up the back side here a little bit. Alright, so you can see that I just jacked up this back side here. I'm going to work on this other one. Once I get them sort of dry fitted loosely, then we'll go ahead and tighten those up. Alright, I got the baffle installed with all the nuts and stuff, so now I just got to put the wheels back on, and I have to reinstall this back chute because it fell off when I was taking some stuff apart here, so get that all tuned up here. Hopefully this guy will be ready to go. Won't have any more problems. Make sure my height adjusters still work properly. Alright, that looks good. That looks good. So now we install this guy. So there are springs that go on either end here. Just have to remember which side, because they're not the same, so they have to go the right way. So let me get that squared away and I'll bring you back when I got her done up. So just in case you guys are wanting to know if you ever have to replace one of these springs or whatever, this is how they go. You want to kind of set them up like this before you go ahead and install it onto the mower. And then just gonna have to, I had to take this guy off. I took the wheel off and loosened this up so I could have a little more play right here. Because in theory, this probably should have went on before I put the whole thing back together. Okay. But again, there's so many parts that have to kind of line up and fit together. So it just made it very difficult. And this is probably not going to make it any easier, to be honest. So just reline everything up here again. Alright, so the rear door here is all back on. There's plenty of spring tension there now. And if we look up and underneath here, now we got a nice, fresh, new rear baffle. I'll put the part number for this guy down below if you're looking for this one. Just make sure you double check, because they are different ones on these Toros. Just make sure you double check the model number here when you do your Google search. Don't necessarily just trust the part number for this particular one. It might not be exactly for yours. So hopefully this was informative and you learned a little bit about how to change that up. If your machine's just leaving grass trails behind, there's a possibility that you might have a chewed up rear. You might have a chewed up rear baffle on your machine as well. So if you like the video, please go ahead and smash the like button down below. And if you're not a subscriber, consider doing so. It really helps me out on my channel. And until our next project, guys, take care.